Is Charlie Woods really worth the hype, or are we looking at a typical Nepo baby here? It's probably best if we take this question to the pro golfers themselves, and they seem impressed by mini Tiger so far. Harrington can't get enough of his swing. Every year, the PNC Championship is Charlie's time to shine. He tees it up along with his dad at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club and gets the world talking about him. And while many have praised the junior Woods as a golfer, some fans are skeptical of the 13-year-old's talent. If you're one of those fans, you might want to hear it from Padraig Harrington.
I think you either go one way or the other. You're either burn yourself out by.
Padraig is a three-time major champion and has a history of playing at the PNC Championship too. And ahead of the 2022 championship, he showered the young Woods in praise. But what does Harrington find so special about him, you ask? His swing. Charlie Woods has gathered a lot of praise for his swing in the past couple of years, but the three-time major champion believes it's much more awesome than we give it credit for. He says it's near impossible to have such a flawless swing at such a young age. Padraig found it exceptional of young Woods to support the angles that he did back when he was only 11. Do you want to know how much of an impossible swing we're talking about here?
And the rest of the crew, it's 473 here as Charlie sends it. Top Tracer Technology watching it, powered by Top Golf.
Well, the 51-year-old said even Rory McIlroy didn't have a swing like that when he was that young.
He can be a little bit more aggressive, but you do not want to miss this right.
See, at the ages of 11, 12, and even 13, it's really hard to support tricky angles because players lack the muscle strength needed for it. And Charlie has been doing it since he was a little 11-year-old kid. You kind of get why Padraig is so impressed, don't you?
So a two-putt birdie for Team Woods. And they move on with their latest birdie.
Want to know who else is just as impressed? Jon Rahm.
That was a great round, I think. If he doesn't beat it, I think it beats my lowest score out here.
At only 12 years of age, Charlie Woods wasn't just better than Rory McIlroy, but Jon Rahm too. He said it himself. While this most recent PNG championship was more about Tiger's comeback after his injury, the one before was all about the junior Woods because, well, he was just too good for his age. And back then, the former world #1 Jon Rahm also couldn't help but compliment little Woods. According to the Spaniard, Charlie was much more talented at 12 than he was. But that's not it. Rahm also made a prediction. He said that if Charlie keeps working hard, he'll no doubt make it to the PGA Tour one day. And he says he knows Woods Jr. will definitely keep practicing.
With his second at the sixth. Had that beautiful drive, the opener. I mean, all the cameras around, the jam-packed first tee.
Though Jon Rahm isn't the only one impressed by Baby Tiger, another major champion feels the same, but about a slightly different thing. Justin Thomas and Charlie are buddies.
They were just practicing putts over on the 12th. Charlie made one. And there's...
Yep, while all these other pro golfers know Charlie the golfer, Thomas is buddies with Charlie the person. And from what he's told us, looks like Tiger's son is also pretty good at trash talking. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess. Well, the two-time major champion always has a fun time playing at the Ritz-Carlton against Tiger and his son. Justin said that for some reason, Mr. Woods Jr. is always after him, saying he wants to defeat him no matter what. Oh well, looks like the son is as competitive as the father. So far, the 13-year-old hasn't had any luck beating the 29-year-old. Still, the major champion said that little Tiger just doesn't quit the trash talking. But in return, the world's #9 teases the hell out of the young golfer too. So it's fair game. It's good to know that Tiger's son has Tiger's sense of humor too, isn't it? There's also something else the two have in common: a golfing legend's approval.
From his teeing ground.
His dad found that left bunker. So there's that patented little...
The 83-year-old Lee Trevino respects Tiger Woods a lot, but at the 2021 PNC Championship, we saw that he sees potential in his son, too. There were videos of Lee teaching the then 12-year-old some tips and tricks while Tiger watched. Look, the six-time major champion might be retired now, but he's a golfing icon. So if he approves of Charlie, so do I. According to Lee, the junior Woods has all the talent and potential to take the place of his father in in the golfing world. Wait, does that mean he could seriously be the next Tiger Woods? If we're talking talent, he has a shot. There's absolutely no doubt that Charlie has inherited those golfing talent genes from his father. And John Rahm is right. With constant practice, the 13-year-old can become a PGA star one day. But is that the same as replacing Tiger? Not really. Maybe he'll be the first Charlie Woods, which is just as good, to be honest. See, the thing is that Tiger Woods was an exception. He was the dominant player for decades because he was just different. The way his shots were something nobody has ever seen before. The way he won 40% of all events he played. Someone being that good seems almost impossible. But you know what's great? There's definitely an element of the 47-year-old in his son. From the way he holds the club and the way he swings it, it's almost a spitting image of his father. Hell, even his mannerism, the way he celebrates and walks around the field and takes off his gloves. It's like looking at a mini-sized Tiger. So, if Charlie decides to become a pro golfer, one thing's for sure. The fans of the current era of golf will get to witness some of that Tiger Woods nostalgia on their screens. Oh, and there's another thing that's for sure. Charlie will always have an advantage over other golfers his age. He's learning from the best in the business. Yep, learning everything you know about golf from arguably the best golfer of all time is definitely a big flex, and Charlie Woods will have that forever. In fact, we can be sure that if he becomes a pro golfer, he'll be exceptional too, because while Tiger is a living legend, he's also a fierce coach. The 15-time major champion gets this from his own father, Earl Woods. Earl trained his son very strictly, so strict that by today's standards, it might be child cruelty. Tiger thankfully isn't that serious, but he does use some tricks on Charlie that he learned from his own dad. The 47-year-old admitted that he tried to get into Charlie's head, trying to distract him from the game. Why? Because this way he'll learn not to let anyone get into his head and mess with his game. He said this was something his own father did, and it worked. So yeah, when it comes to mentoring, Charlie has got the best in the game. But is that really even a good thing? Charlie might be under too much pressure. Obviously, it's wonderful to see the legend's son playing so well. But when you think about it, it's a bit too much pressure for a 13-year-old, isn't it? It's easy to project him, or not to project him as the next Tiger Woods. But all this talk places too many expectations on a literal child. Charlie's every step is already being closely compared to his father. If he decides to make golf his career, these comparisons will only grow more and more fierce, and that just can't be healthy. Not to mention that it's curious how Tiger is letting the world pay so much attention to his young son. The 47-year-old had the luxury to grow without the constant media scrutiny, and that is something the world expected he'd like for his son too. But it looks like despite being a very private person himself, he doesn't mind putting his son in front of the prying eyes of the whole world. All this attention and pressure might affect the young Woods negatively. Let's just all hope that doesn't happen. Alright then, that was what some of the pros think about young Charlie Woods and his future in golf. See you in the next video.